morning. My name is Sir John Ray Dagiagnao. You can call me Sir D. Okay? So this morning, we will be discussing about recognizing useful and harmful materials. Now, when we talk about useful and harmful materials, okay, these are the materials that we usually encounter from our daily activities. And by identifying the usefulness of particular material and at the same time harmful materials, we can actually have two things. First and foremost, we can limit the waste materials in our surroundings. Okay, we can help actually our environment to thrive well because materials that were identified as useful were reused again or recycled again. In that way, the waste materials that we usually accumulate will be lessened. Second, harmful materials, when we are going to identify them, it's very useful in a sense that it will not endanger our lives. For safety purposes. Do you get my point? So are you with me? Okay, so let's go. Why is it important to know which materials are useful? Now, these are the different materials that you usually encounter in your respective home. Yes? Well, I think it's very important.
I'm just trying to pick that.
Oh, sure, no problem. Why do you think that it's very important to identify which materials are useful or not? Yes, what's your name? Uno. Okay, yes, Uno.
So that you can use that if they're also very dangerous. You
Oh.
can ask for help.
Okay, very good. So, if you have an idea, this material is supposed to be thrown. But you know what? With little creativity, you can transform it into something or you can recycle or you can reuse it. Alright? With the background at the back. Okay. Sige. Alright, what else? Why do you think this is very important? Like for example, in the case of this. Right after you consume canned goods, we usually throw it away, right? But with the creativity that you have, you can actually make something out of it. Instead of ending, it will end up in the trash can. You
Recycle
can,
it.
yes, what's the term?
Recycle it.
Recycle it. That's correct. Yes? Okay? We can recycle it. So in that way, we can actually limit one at a time. Limit, the materials or the waste materials that will be thrown. You know that the government is spending millions just to, make the city clean? So we can do our part to save money and to save the environment if we know how to identify or spot the materials that can be used or can be recycled. Yes, Uno?
Sir, I will ask you a question about doing that.
Yes. What's your
You
question?
can turn like recycles out of that can into like flower pots.
Exactly. Now, so it's just a little, it just requires creativity in your part to recycle them to become a flower pot. Or you can make it into a toy. Right? Okay, sige. Any question?
No.
Okay, when can we say a certain material is useful or harmful? Based on the three pictures there, which do you think can be considered as useful material or harmful material? Yes, what's your name?
That is not.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, why do you think it's harmful?
No, I think that.
This one? This one?
Yes.
Okay. Yes? Yes, what about you? What's your name?
Kenzo.
Kenzo?
Yes, motor oil.
Motor oil.
Because it's flammable.
Flammable, it can cause fire. Very good. And you know guys, these batteries, okay, this one, they contain chemicals that may be toxic to the environment and at the same time may be toxic to us. Okay, so you should dispose it properly if it's harmful. There must be a proper waste disposal. In the case of motor oil, it could be flammable and at the same time it could serve as a pollutant in the environment. What do we mean when we say pollutant? Okay, you introduce something in the environment that may harm the environment. Okay, have you heard about the oil spill before?
Yeah.
And then it affected it really affects the island of Guimaras. There are a lot of animal species and plant species that were killed because of the oil spill. So this one, used oil, you need to dispose it also properly. Don't dispose it somewhere else or being irresponsible. Don't just dump it somewhere else. There must be a proper disposal for this. Yes or no?
Sir, when will we do the frog project?
Come again?
The frog project.
The what?
When will we do the frog project?
Frog project?
Dissecting the frog.
Oh, don't you know that dissecting a frog is no longer allowed?
In what?
Yes,
No!
because they belong to the higher form of animals. There's already a guideline for that. If you're not a trained and licensed practitioner to dissect, you're not allowed to do that.
Oh.
Yes.
Sir,
Okay?
so
Yes.
What will we do instead? What will we do instead?
Let's find out if you will already reach the lesson about animals. Okay? Alright, Uno? Oh, very good. Sige. So, what practice or process is needed in order to convert used materials into a usable form? For sure, you are doing it at home.
Recycling.
Recycling. What else?
What else do you have to say?
Okay, recycling. What else? Reusing. Okay, is recycling and reusing the same?
Yes.
Oh, let's find out later. Yes, you said no? Oh, yes. Okay, let's find out if your answer is correct. Okay? Now, the first practice in order to have proper waste management. When we talk about waste management, these are the practice or method that we usually do in order to limit, okay, the waste that we're going to have, and at the same time, proper waste disposal. Okay, so first, segregation and recycling, they must go hand in hand. Have you noticed that even here in school, we have what do you call this, garbage can that are properly labeled. Okay, because it would train you, yes, it would train you how to segregate properly. Because segregation would help you to identify materials that can be used, okay, or can be recycled, or that is already disposable. Okay, so that's why you need to know what is the meaning of those labels. Copy? Okay. Now, if it's a paper, most likely it can be used again or recycled, or it is considered as biodegradable and you can use that for organic fertilizer. Okay? Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, please sit properly. Okay? And then, in recycling, what's the purpose of recycling? What are the benefits of recycling? Yes?
Reuse.
Okay, when we say recycling, it could either be you're going to reuse it, reduce, and recycle. Okay, so do you think reusing and recycling the same?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's for you to think about. I will not. Yes, Taco. It's the same.
For me, it's the same.
For you, it's the same as well. What's your name?
Kenzo.
Kenzo. According to Mr. Bachar, Not the same. What about you?
It's the same. Recycling and using.
Okay, recycling and using, they're just the same. So let's find out later if your answer is correct. Alright. Now, what is waste segregation in the first place? Okay, when you talk about waste segregation from the word segregate, which means that you are going to group, okay, you group the waste materials based on their category or kind. Okay, can you see plastic, paper, bottles, tin cans, just like that. You segregate them based on their category. Why do you think it's very important to segregate?
To protect Mother Nature.
Yes, to protect Mother Nature. Okay, because when you are segregating, you can easily identify, that bottle, it can be made into
Not this. A pot.
a pot or into a toy or something, a decorative material. So in that way, you are actually helping Mother Nature instead of ending it up in the dump site, you are able to use it. Alright?
Yes.
Okay, sige. So that's segregation. You categorize the waste materials based on their kind. Okay, am I getting boring? Okay? Now, I want you to stand and then at the count of 3, you exchange seats.
But
Those who cannot immediately transfer will have a consequence and you will be my dummy here in front. Ready?
go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, oh! Kami. Okay, sanitize. Now, kami. Alright, what's your name? Walkmin?
Uy, sir, sila, wala tao ko po di.
Keep quiet. Alright? So, when you talk about segregation, it refers to sorting or separation of waste types. Right? This would help us to actually clean the environment. Right? Okay.
Yes.
So, why we should segregate? What do you think? Why we should segregate our waste properly? Yes.
Be organized.
To
Be organized.
organize. That is correct. Okay, thank you. Now, to organize, the moment that you organize it, it's very easy for us to identify which materials can be used again or can be recycled again. Alright? Sige. So, let's discuss the importance of waste segregation. First and foremost, lower waste costs. As what I have mentioned a while ago, the government, especially most of the highly urbanized city, okay, they are actually, have you seen JS Lison track?
Yes. I
Okay.
saw earlier by the school.
Yes. Don't you know the city government, they're paying millions for it? Okay? So, how can you help our own city actually to lessen the cost? Okay, by segregating the waste material properly, and in that way, we can actually reuse the materials, okay, for our own benefit.